Welcome to Allergen Checker, Video 1, showing you how to manage ingredients and create your digital food larder. Starting from the dashboard, select Manage Ingredients. To add your first ingredient, select Add Ingredients. A window will open and you will need to select if your ingredient is raw, manufactured or homemade. Let's start with raw. By raw, we mean that in its own right it is a single item within a recipe. We are not referring to if it is cooked or not. For example, a raw ingredient would be a carrot, milk or chicken. Select raw. Now input the ingredient's name, and the product code is optional. You can search both of these fields from the dashboard later when you're searching for the ingredient. Select the allergens that are relevant, if any, and click Create Ingredient. The ingredient will now be added to the ingredient list and any allergens will be identified with an icon. Let's add another raw ingredient. Select Add Ingredient. We are going to add plain cooked chicken breast. It's important to understand that this is plain. Should you choose to season this with herbs, salt, pepper, this would then become a homemade ingredient as there are more than one ingredient in the dish. You now know how to add raw ingredients to your digital larder. Now let's add a manufactured ingredient. A manufactured ingredient is anything that has been pre-made or purchased from an external supplier. For example, a pre-made cake, a loaf of bread or sausages. Select Manufactured Ingredients. There are three approaches to inputting a manufactured ingredient, and we'll start with the most basic, adding the ingredients from the product label. Firstly, input the manufacturer. You will notice a question mark next to the manufacturer box. This is to remind you that this information will not show up on labels or menus, it's only to help you distinguish between manufactured items when creating dishes. Add the ingredient name and add a product code if you choose to. If you're purchasing manufactured ingredients from a wholesaler, the product code could become useful in the future. Trace items are also labelled as may contain. If a label shows any may contain or trace ingredients, we will input them here, making sure to separate each with a comma. In the large ingredient box on the right hand side, start typing all the ingredients off the label, making sure to separate them with a comma. When you have inputted all the ingredients, press the Process List button. Allergen Checker will now identify and put in bold any allergens that may be present in this product. Press Create Ingredient and this manufactured ingredient will appear in your digital larder. Adding a manufactured ingredient using supplier website. This is very similar to inputting by hand, but we utilise the supplier's website to collect the information and input the data by copying and pasting all the information. It is important to understand the delimiter function. Different suppliers separate the ingredients using different methods. Allergen Checker is equipped to process these methods, but it's important that you select the correct delimiter in order to process the list accurately. When all the information had been copied across to the ingredient list has been processed, press Create Ingredient and this manufactured ingredient will now appear in your digital larder. Adding manufactured ingredients using live feed. To utilise this feature, you do need to be on the Pro package. Live feed allows you to pull in all the information direct from the manufacturer. Select Import. In a new window, start typing the brand followed by the product name. Highlight the product from the list and select Import Ingredient. All the data will automatically import. It's important to note that if next to the description it gives quantities, i.e. 12 by 15 grams, that this is deleted, otherwise this information will show on labels and menus. Select Create Ingredients and the ingredient will be added to your digital larder. You can now add all types of ingredients to your account. It is important to remind you that it is your responsibility to ensure all information is checked and added accurately. Adding a homemade ingredient. A homemade ingredient is an ingredient that is created from a number of ingredients, both raw and/or manufactured. For example, a house salad, a homemade pie, a sauce or a dressing. We highly recommend that you input all your raw and manufactured ingredients first to make this process easier. From the home screen, select Manage Ingredients, then select Add Ingredients, and then select Homemade. First thing to do is type in the ingredient name. When the ingredient appears in the drop-down, just click on it and you will see that it's added to the Ingredients Added section on the right hand side. We're now ready to add our next ingredient. I'll repeat this process until all the ingredients are added. You will notice that if an ingredient contains an allergen, then the icon appears in the Allergens Present box above. When you have inputted all the ingredients, press Create Ingredient, and the homemade tomato chutney will be added to your digital larder, ready to be used in your dishes.